Hello, my name is Brandi Hofer. Welcome to the Color Me Happy podcast. I'm so grateful you're here, and I'm very grateful for your time. You are going to feel so empowered with our episodes and our guests because they live a truly passionate life. They're excited about what they do. They know that creativity matters and that your art matters and that it matters to following your passion in life to ultimately see your everyday ordinary as extraordinary. These episodes are almost unedited, very raw, so it'll feel like you're sitting down for coffee with a friend. Feel free to reach out anytime at Brandi Hofer Studios on Instagram and subscribe for more content just like this. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for coming on again.
Well, it's really great to be back. Life is so different. Everything's changed so much since then.
I know.
We have a lot to talk about.
I'm like in burnout for sure. And because I got sick, which I knew it was coming, but like I've gotten like minor versions all year of what or I guess it's since September we've kind of been sick because we just have kids. We have 3 kids. That's just what it is, right? And you're in school and hockey and whatever. And so I've had mini versions of what they had, and then this was not a mini version. I was like completely like bedridden. It just struck me, and then I'm like laying there, obviously in pain, and then not really any energy the following like for the last 2 days. And I'm like, how was I doing all the stuff I was doing? This is burnout. This is not just like you got sick. This is all like on top of like going in like 5 in the morning to, and then just going.
So last week I sent my friend a post or a story, or I think it was a post, but it said, I decided to start my own business and I want to enjoy the freedom. And the pun was enjoy the freedom of working during my time, working till 1 a.m, being the first one up. Like basically the joke is that when you're doing your own business, you don't really get to rest. Everything lands on you. So I could see the burnout is real. And you don't even, like you said, you don't even recognize it because you're so in the grind. When you stop, when you're forced to stop, when you're still, you think of the tasks that are sitting that you haven't done and you realize that's a lot. Why would I want to do all that? What am I doing to myself? So it's a really good opportunity to reflect and maybe figure out what you need to delegate to other people.
I know, right? Can you delegate someone painting your art or?
No, but there are artists that have, hey, so here in San Jose, there are a few folks that I know that they will take on jobs and then they will sub, I don't know what it would be.
Contract
other artists to sort of work on their work and then they submit it. So they're like, ghostwriters, right? They are ghost artists. They don't put their name on it, but they're being paid to do the work for other artists. But when you're in production mode, I guess it works.
I know. I would love to sub out editing, but I just can't. I can't. The editing for like classes and stuff, it's just like you're voicing over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, so it's just this. I'll figure it out. I don't know.
I know last time, so I'm gonna go ahead and just put it out there. Last time that we spoke, I learned a lot just from hearing you speak. So one of the things that I took away from our conversation is diversify your income streams. And every time I'm like trying to work on my business, I'm thinking, what did Brandi say? Diversify, and pie charts and, figuring out where your income's coming from. So I know that you do classes, workshops, you do murals, you have your podcast, and you have a book, I believe. You have a book, and probably so many other just random art jobs that just come in that you say yes to. And so I've been trying to figure out how to actually generate more income. So, selling merchandise, the life painting business, and then how to like contract other artists, to build my own business, plus going into galleries. And so I've really taken that to heart. And I got a grant last year to help my business grow here in San Jose.
I saw that. Congratulations.
So much. San Jose is the best city. I love my city. They really take care of artists here. And one of the things I'm doing this year is I hired a designer. So he's working on a bunch of my marketing materials, like brochures for murals, and my new business. He's doing all my branding. And then I have an editor. So it's so funny because I give my people work, and then I need to do work based on the work I give them, because I say, hey, help me do a newsletter. And then they put everything together that I have to fill out, because that's my voice, right? Then I'm like, dang, why do I have so much work from these people? Like, I gave them the work to give to me. So then I just have to do the work. But I mean, without the delegation, without the income from that grant, I would be stuck. So it's been very, very helpful, which is why I talked about delegating. I think from our conversation, you spoke about having an agent or a manager, and it's something I always wanted to get, but I just never had the financial stream. But as soon as this grant came in, I mean, I wrote the grant to get like an agent or a manager or somebody that can help me with my marketing. And it takes two people to market me, So shout out to Haley and Benjamin for doing that work, and the city of San Jose, of course. But I have seen my efforts be multiplied 1,000,000 times over just with people helping out. So yeah, really great advice from the last podcast.
Yeah, delegation is so important. And like, you don't always need a grant. Grants are great. You're so lucky that, it wasn't luck. You applied. You made it happen, right?
But
you
it's not
asked for something you needed.
Right.
Right.
I can't apply for
no, right? So you could start small. Like I did start with a studio manager, and they basically only took over banking for me. And since then, I do it now, but I have all the spreadsheets and templates and the system. So every month, instead of meeting for coffee, unfortunately, I don't get to see my studio manager. I have a different one, but she does different things now. And it's like, these are your hours, and this is the max hours that I can pay for this month. Like, say you have 5 hours or 10 hours or 20 hours a month in your budget, right? And then once they hit it, and then it goes into the next month's,
Yes.
So that's the way. I have a team of 5 people, but they're not, and no one's full time.
Right.
So, and they all have different skill sets and stuff like that. And they all like, for example, Alex is YouTube and Pinterest, but she just takes from what I do on Instagram. So I only have to edit once, but it goes out to different places. So it's just like reusing content. So recycling something that you already have, or ideas that you all already have, is a really great way to not get burnt out. Like I should be. I feel like so guilty right now giving advice about burnout. But like, and yesterday I was teaching, and I was like, when did teaching and murals and like being a mother, and like, when did this become not good enough? Like, why do I keep having to? And I think it's from that place of, building, and you forget that you can just stay in the maintain spot for a while. And that mindset of always having to get more jobs it's just hasn't gone away. And said no today. I emailed someone, and I was like, I know I said yes, but actually I'm saying no. I'm so sorry. So saying no, and then leaving the room for growth in the areas that you are seeing growth that are working, right? So I'm curious, what is working for you now that you've started delegating and growth in your business? We're having some growth.
Well, what is working is finding my authentic voice. I feel I was doing a lot of things that I had fallen into place into. Like I'd fallen into these roles, but it wasn't necessarily who I was. So finding the ability to look deep down inside what's making me happy, what is it that I have to say, and then just going for it, not being scared to just put yourself out there. You know, letting go of maybe preconceived notions of what is the type of artist that I am supposed to be, and maybe having more fun, like playing with the artwork and then creating pieces that stem from not pain, but stem from more of that joy in life. And so I'm happier, and then finding myself through my work as it's more playful, I'm becoming happier, and then I'm able to take more risks. I don't know if you remember, but I was part of a life painting organization or group. I was part of a crew when we spoke, and I had been painting with them for 8 years. And in November, I decided to go solo. So I left the group and I started my own. I basically from scratch built my own structures. Well, not from scratch. I had my brother-in-law. I designed it, and then I pushed him to like get me the design that I wanted, because I'm doing all the lifting myself. I'm like, make it lighter, make it smaller, make it so I can build it on my own. So we engineered and co-designed a structure that is a one-person build. I don't need anybody to help me. And I started an all-women's painting group. Well, I'm the group, and I'm bringing other women that I'm hiring on. But, you know, assessing the needs and figuring out what is it that I actually really enjoy and what I stand for. And through the life painting world, the underrepresentation of women just kept being in my head, like over and over. Where are my women painters? Why can't I call on a woman and hire her? Oh, she doesn't have experience. Well, let's get them the experience. So figuring out how to build an organization or a company where women artists can come to me and build their portfolio, their resume, their experience, so that they can be hired, you know, through me or through larger organizations. So it's called Fab Productions. Fab is for, well, obviously for fabulous, but female art. And we've already have one event under our belt. We started with Lunar New Year, and we do life painting and activities. So finding also a way, I'm very big with community. You know, this is my classroom, this is my students' work. And so community is such a big thing with the life painting and hiring other artists. But I wanted to figure out a way to get the audience involved. Not just as spectators to life painting, but to actually, I mean, they're there and they're enjoying the art, and I'm sure they want to make stuff. So how do I invite them to come up and immerse themselves in the art making process, not just be watching? And so I decided to invite the audience of the festivals to come and make art. And so like it's a 4-sided structure. 2 sides are usually life painting, because I have 2 other events lined up, and I'm using the same formula. One side's like a photo opportunity where people can come and take pictures. And I'm doing this really great one for 408 Day, which is celebrating the San Jose spirit. That's our area code. And I'm going to have one of my artists do like a freak show type of stage, and people are going to be invited to come and take awkward photos and celebrate their unique weirdness. So, you know, being all about celebrating individuality. And then on the other side of the box, I'm having people do like stamping and stencil work so they can spray paint. And that's just for everybody. And you get to take something home. So having more of like an immersive and interactive experience at these community events is like my new thing. And of course, celebrating, you know, women because we need way more female representation out there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. I was so surprised in our 2 guests ago, I think, or one. And I mixed up my sands.
Oh, I
Actually,
did. I messaged
right.
her. She's like, I'm
She's,
from San
yeah,
Diego.
San Diego. Yeah, not San Jose. But I was
Listen.
so surprised to hear that she got like that one thing so much, like that isn't this like a man's job? Like why, how, like why do you think you can be a female mural artist? Like, oh,
Yes.
all my kids are home. I forgot when I booked this that it's early dismissal today. That's okay. My mic does pick up some, but not all. That's why I like this little mic, because it blocks out most noise, except for the Harry Potter when he got attacked by a snake over there. That was super loud. I had to mute. But anyway, yeah, I was surprised because I don't think I like live in the most progressive place in the world, but like I've never gotten that, not once, painting a mural or done that. But to be fair, there's just not a lot of mural painters in general, actually, at all. So I was like one of the first ones to be doing it. So it like took me back when I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah, where you live, where muralism is kind of big here in San Jose, San Diego, LA. And when you do go out and there is muralism, a large percentage of muralists are males.
Mm-hmm.
And, we're trying to change that little by little. It's really interesting. I had a woman just contact me. A few people contacted me and they want to, learn some techniques, and they say, oh, I'm an aspiring female artist and I'd like to meet you. Maybe we could, have coffee. Do you have any advice? And, that makes me really proud because I've been doing a lot of work, to just get to where I am. And, as an educator, my goal is to inspire young people to be whatever they want to be. And it just really sucks to be told you can't be an artist because there's no money in the arts. That's what my students get, male, female, just the limited thought capacity of you're going to be a starving artist. Number one, I've had, oh my gosh, I'm not going to say where I worked in, but I've had teachers in the past. They don't do it anymore. And these teachers are not working here anymore. But I've had them tell my students that they should switch their major as soon as they say, well, I'm going to college and I want to be an artist. And they say, you should change you're too smart to be an artist. You're going to waste your career. You're going to waste your time. You're not going to make ends meet. And I've had to talk to these teachers, but what I do now in my classroom is when I do a mural or when I do a larger job, an illustrative job, I will print out a sheet of my budget. I will print out a sheet of how much I got paid and how much everybody got paid, right? The photographer, and I'll put the picture of the project and then I'll just put a little description and I'll put it up on the wall. And I was watching one of the students read through it the other day, and there are real numbers there. So if I got paid $10,000 for a mural, it's up there. I'm not hiding it anymore. I know people don't like to talk about money, but it's actually good for artists to talk about how much they make, especially to the youth, because that starving artist mentality, we got to throw it out the door. There's so many ways to make income and revenue. Mm-hmm. That's just the lights in my classroom went out.
And you have to start with asking for it, knowing you deserve it and asking for it. Mm-hmm. And having set prices. And I think so much knowledge and power comes with that. Hopefully you can't hear that. It's loud. Gus, can you turn it down, please? More. They're like, I don't get it. You're like, what's a podcast? Like, what do you mean you're working today?
I can't hear you inside.
Oh, you can't hear it? Great.
Can't hear it.
I'll pretend that it's not happening.
Tell them they're golden.
So yeah, like it's getting to the point where you know your worth and setting and just having it in like either a spreadsheet or a Canva document or a contract and being like, this is it. And if you don't like it, don't sign it or don't email me back. Or
right, because then it's a burnout. We're doing the work that doesn't pay a lot of money, but we're spending a lot of time on it, but you can't, pay your bills. So
meals especially, super hard and expensive. So definitely don't undercharge for those things.
Yeah,
I've been there, and that's how I learned. So like if you ever do have a question for someone, ask them. Or if you wonder what they charge, like, and I love the work that you're doing, and I love the work that Phoebe's doing in way over in San Diego. That doesn't mean you guys still can't team up. You're closer to each other than I am to either one of you. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't. Now I lost my track of what I was going to say, but you will spend less time messing around with people who you don't need to mess around with, and bigger and better opportunities will come your way, which I'm sure has happened to you.
Yes. And I was just talking to a friend about, putting your intentions out there and then releasing and letting go, not trying to force those things that you really, really want. Instead, like you said, set your prices, set your intentions. If it's not meant for you, someone will take that job, but do you need to be stressing over that client, or do you need to be stressing when you're already burnt out, you're stretched thin in your career? Like, is that something that's really meant for you? You need to open up that space and that time for something better to come along. I used to but it's easy, right? When you're first starting in your career, maybe that's where it comes from, that scarcity mindset. You don't have anything. You're trying to fill up your calendar. I take this job.
Scarcity. Thank you. That's what I was looking for at the beginning of the There's a podcast.
Mentality. So you say yes to everything because you don't know when you're going to get your next job. And so you're just so used to being the yes person just to fill up your calendar. But once you start getting that consistent work, now it's about fine-tuning to your needs, taking the work that fits into your portfolio, not the work that you just need the money for, tailoring your requests. And, I get asked to apply to a lot of, I don't even know, RFQs, RQBs, and they're all different, but they all start with R. One of them you submit portfolios, one of them you submit artwork. But I get asked to participate in a lot of cohorts, but I can't do everything. So, read, is this something that is going to fit into my portfolio later? If I don't need it in my portfolio, like they're asking me to draw something techie or paint a mural that's techie, do I want to paint more of those later on? If you don't want them, then don't even apply to the job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't matter how much it pays. Like, is it really worth your time? Because you can't use it in your portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
So once you've established that, release the need to be busy and then just start tailoring, be more specific with your needs. But that comes definitely with time. At the beginning, we're just, yes, I'll do this. What? You want me to paint that? I've never done it. Yeah, I'll try it.
Yeah. And we talk about that a lot, is like paint your bathroom and paint your kids' room or whatever. Just, you got to start somewhere. Or paint it. Like, I'm friends with a lot of DIYers online, and they do that. They're like, I started with the little staircase under my friend's stairs and we made it really cool. And then like they expand out, right? Like, and then they get these contracts and these jobs, and then they're being paid for what they do. And it does grow, but you're right. You do have to tailor your portfolio for jobs that you would like in the future. And what am I doing, and what is this evolving into, right?
But that is with time. I guess it's really important to understand where you are in your career. If you can't assess that and you are acting if you're in scarcity mode, like you were talking about, like, when do I get to stop and like saying yes to all these things? Why did I take so much? And it's understanding that you're no longer at the beginning stages of your career, and now you're evolving to like a stage where you can start to be more picky. Because I actually, and I think we talked about this in the last podcast, I believe that when you're starting out, you do have to do everything. I actually was just in a panel for Gen Arts over here at Makla. And in my panel, one of the things that I gave the artists advice was do it all and, you know, get the experience, the little jobs, the big jobs, the random jobs. And in your podcast, we talked about different work that we've had, right? Like every job that you do is added experience. If you're a teacher, you're going to learn to, you know, work with large groups and to organize, plan, schedule, and delegate, right?
And speak in front of people. I
Yeah.
think teachers are the greatest speakers. Like a teacher can just get up and
wing it.
A room of people and just be like, "Hello, everyone, welcome."
Right. Well,
We've just done that every day, you know.
Be so shy. Like I was so shy until I became a teacher, and then I had to get over it. One of the things that we talked about on the podcast last time, I used to be a performer, like a kids party clown magician. You know, I hated that job. I just needed to pay bills. I started off as a face painter, but look at me now. I'm starting my own live painting organization. But what am I bringing in? The performance. Like I wear a purple wig.
Love it.
Think about when I started building my business, I started thinking like, how can I stand out in a city where there's live painting everywhere? How can I be unique? How can I be more memorable? How can I have people who are part of the audience engage in a way that's gonna stand out in their brain, as not just, you know, another art experience, but an experience that is, you know, like the movie that you've seen, I'm sure we've all seen it, Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind.
Mm-hmm.
When she wears her hair, like really,
Gosh, I haven't, not for a really long time.
you know, he calls her Tangerine, but in the movie, like you just watch her orange hair, and it's like it really stands out. So the purple wig is kind of a way to, first of all, you know, think Beyonce, you know, Sasha Fierce, right? I love Queen Irby. Queen Irby is something else in real life, but when she goes on stage and she does her hair and her makeup, she's got that alter ego. And so you're able to step out of character and get into performer mode. I'm no longer just, you know, serious, organized me. I can engage the audience. Plus, you're going to stand out as that little purple bouncing wig, you know, at the festival. And it's a little bit different. And then hopefully my painters, as they see that interesting style choice, you know, it's going to be infectious. So they can loosen up and they can have fun and they can engage the audience. And if I'm not taking myself too serious, then, you know, we can all have fun. So it's about that vibe. But I learned that from being a performer when I used to do parties in 2008, 2009. So you bring that experience. But everything that you do in life needs to, what's the lesson I learned here? What can I take from here? And then just keep building and discarding what you don't need, but keep building on top of it.
Part of who you are.
It is part of who you are.
Mm-hmm. I'm listening to, it's an old book, but I really struggle with small talk, which is funny because I have a podcast, but with real life small talk. So a bit of social anxiety. And I'm always in those situations. Like I'm always at a school or a hockey rink or with kids, and you're standing there and you're like, oh, great. I have to ask this person like 3 weird, small, not that intimate questions, right? Like, what do you ask people? And I always get stuck and I always get nervous. And so I'm listening to this book, and I think it's called 94 Ways to Talk to People, but it's got to be written in like the 80s. And it's so funny because she uses old-timey phrasing, but when you talk about your purple hair, she calls it a what's it? So a what's it object. She said,
Oh.
always wear a what's it, because you'll never run out of something to break the ice, or it will be something that someone will. So an interesting pair of earrings.
I love
or
your
your
earrings.
purple hair. Thank you. I always wear interesting and I didn't know I was wearing a what's it all the time. I like to wear it because it makes you feel a little bit unique. So that, like, she said, wear a brooch, and I was like,
That's antiquated.
But yes, so what's it? It's like an interesting thing that makes you unique, but it engages, it gives people something to say to you, right? Like it gives you that segue into conversation or comfort or anything like that. So it's funny that you were talking about it. I think creatives are more open to expressing those small parts of themselves and being exposed in a way, because you want people to know that you're different and you're creative. The kids are interjecting into our conversation now. They're like, I have a what's it?
Yeah. What's it? That's so cute.
Okay, I want to do some fire questions for you. And I love that your career has evolved in such a way, and that you've got funding and you're doing so much with it, not just for yourself, but for other women in your area as well. If you could paint a mural anywhere in the world, where would it be and why?
If I could paint a mural anywhere in the world, I would go to Mexico, Guadalajara. That's my family's hometown. And so when I used to go visit my family in Guadalajara, my first inspiration was all the artwork, artesanías, like folk art that I would see there. And so it would just be amazing to go to Guadalajara, where I was inspired. My first love of art that I can really remember is when I was living there when I was 4. My mom put me in art classes. They didn't continue when I came to the United States. It was just maybe a few months that I went. But my dad he took me once to an exhibit where they had alebrijes, which are the Oaxacan painted sculptures with like dots and patterns. And actually they were from Mexico City, but they got adopted and adapted in Oaxaca. But I saw an exhibit and I just blew my mind. So I would go to Guadalajara and I would take my cousin to paint a mural with me because she lives over there. And she came down to California to paint my first mural. So I just go paint one over there with her.
Oh, cool. So you have family still there?
I do. My entire mom's side my mom's the only one here. But my entire mom's side, they're all over there. And then I would say about half of my dad's family is in Guadalajara.
So that sounds entirely possible to me, that you could go paint a mural there.
Hold on, I'm gonna put it in my book of manifestations. I think I gotta go. I'm gonna call my cousin. Hey, cousin.
It doesn't sound out of the box at all.
All right, I'm doing it. Brandi's making things happen. I'm gonna go light a candle. Magic.
Yeah, you've got a place to stay, people to feed you. You know.
Hey.
Yeah.
Okay. 2025, it's happening. Thank you.
Yeah, there you go.
Nothing.
Do you have a color in your palette that you always kind of continue over in your work?
Gray. I can't get away from black and white. I just keep doing it. All the colors around it change depending on my mood. Like also I'm very big on recycling. Shout out to the Resilient Artist Cohort. I was a part of a group in the summer of 2024 where they taught artists. This is also something that San Jose is providing for the arts and the artists in the community. We were trained in how to be more sustainable artists just in general in our practices, and then to teach that to others. So I am really big on recycling. And if I have a mural that I painted, all the extra paint I will use in my paintings. So whatever mural I just did, it's black and gray, and then whatever colors were in that mural. So my colors kind of generate around past but yellow was very prevalent for a while, like ochre.
I'm just throwing stuff at him. Hey, I'm podcasting. Like there's someone here right in front of my face that I'm talking to. No bop it. This is why I don't podcast when they're home.
Thank you for
I
fitting
know. I know, sorry.
because I'm used to it. So I had a lot of yellow ochre for a while because I was doing a lot of nostalgic stuff that had to do with dried leaves. But then that was my sad period, the dead leaf period. Ever since I'm out of my dead leaf period, I've been very purple and magical. So purple and magic are kind of in right now in my palette. But I'm feeling I need to bring some green in because green's my favorite color. So I'm manifesting some green coming in my next paintings.
Well, purple and green complement each other really well. In painting.
When I was doing a lot of life painting, I had a lot of green and teals with magenta violets. I had a lot of those color palettes in most of my life painting. So I guess that's a combo that I really like as well. They're my two favorite colors.
They're also a challenge though. There is one artist in Mexico, and I noticed, always combines purple and green on like every one of her murals in this like cool way that like almost grays it down. Gosh, once I find her, I just discovered her, I'll send her to you. But it seems like she's doing murals like just that full time everywhere, all over.
What part of
Mexico.
What part of
Oh
Mexico?
gosh, I don't know. There's no way.
Send her over to check it out.
I want to go. I booked a trip there, and I had to cancel it because I've had dengue fever before, and you can't get it twice. Except I had it in Thailand, so there's like 4 strains, I believe, and I've had 1, and then 3 and 4 in Mexico, so it's very dangerous to get it twice.
Oh,
but
wow.
I was just I'm craving I didn't book an all-inclusive trip. Like I booked like a middle city arts area. Like I was like, I just want culture and food, and I want my kids to experience it because they've never been. And
I have an idea. Let's go paint a mural in Guadalajara.
I know, right?
I'll meet you there this summer.
Oh, I just love to do that. I need a vaccine first.
I'll get your vaccine and then let's go figure out.
You need 3 shots over a year-long period, and there's none available in Canada because no one has dengue fever here, so no one cares.
I'm putting it on my calendar for 2027.
Yeah, right. There we go. Thank you.
Put my pencil.
I know. Would it be so bad if I just popped down to Mexico, got a vaccination, and came home?
All right. I'll call you in 2026 when I'm doing the preparations.
Yeah. Exactly. I'll be there, honestly. What is the bravest thing that you've ever done as an artist?
The bravest thing I've ever done as an artist? Paint myself.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is hard.
Because I'm an educator. And I had censored myself for so long because of the stigma of what being an educator is, and what you put out on social media. And then I realized I was censoring myself for my students, so I wasn't really being my authentic self. And then at the time I was also married, so then is he gonna approve that I'm just painting myself? I'll say the word for you all, like nude, am I going to paint myself, right? And so there's the student aspect, and then there's the aspect of like the person that you're married to, and then your children. I have 2 boys. Like, if they see this painting, are they going to think anything negative? But if I'm going to be a true authentic artist, and if I have a vision, and if I can't put that vision out there or that message because of what others are going to think, then where's the artist in me? And so I did a painting that had to do with myself coming out of my shell. So there's like a person that's like crawling on the floor and her back is cracked open. And we all come to this world, nude. You're a baby, you're born nude. And so this kind of cocoon body shell, this other woman is being lit up and she's stepping out of a shell of a carcass of the past. And she's beautiful, just bright and glowing with an aura around her. And she's coming out towards the viewer, like full frontal. And she's half galaxy and she's, glowing. And I was really nervous to paint that. Funny story. I mean, how much do you want me to censor this conversation?
I don't want you to censor it at all.
So funny story.
0.
That's a funny story. It's a really horrible story and stuff out there exists that is not good. But while I was doing that painting, I noticed there was way more interest in my paintings. I mean, I was in a shared studio space. People would leave me alone. I'm kind of a workaholic. I just paint and people just go like, oh, Elba's painting. Everybody's working, partying, socializing, and I'm just working round the clock, work. And there was a lot of male interest in my painting all of a sudden. People were trying to figure out how they could see my reference on my phone. So I'd have to quickly switch. Like if I'm drawing a breast, I'd have to draw like close up of a thigh so they don't see anything. But while I was doing that painting, one of the artists in my studio space like hugged me from behind and groped me on the breast. And I'm thinking like, just because I'm painting this does not give you permission to like touch me. Like that makes me mad. Now I'm like,
terrible. I'm sorry that happened.
Right. I don't even know how to.
Because you're sitting in your power. That's, again, not giving anyone permission.
And I didn't say anything because I wanted to be like, no, it was an accident. Oh my God, no, that didn't happen. But looking back at it, it was so on purpose. It was so deliberate. Yeah, things are different now, though.
It makes me so fucking mad. Sorry.
That painting, though, I put it up in an exhibit at a really wonderful gallery called Movimiento Arte Cultura Latinoamericana. So I've just switched my Spanish brain, Macla, here in San Jose. I put it up in an exhibit about women stepping out of their gender roles and taking power. And that piece, the original name is Step Into Your Power. And the edited title is called Libre, Free. But I actually really like the original title, Step Into Your Power, because she's coming out and, just being in front of the camera. But that piece, when people walk in front of it, I had 4 people, 3 people in front of me were crying. And 1 person I had to follow to the restroom at the exhibit because she was crying. And I said, are you okay? What's wrong? She says, no, I'm just overwhelmed and overcome with so much emotion from staring at the painting and looking at it, as it's making me reflect on where I am in my life and what I've left behind and the power that I need to step into and that I'm stepping into. Like these people that were looking at the image had in their own way gone through different things in their life that they were reflecting that they no longer needed, but it was bringing them to the point of tears. And then I had another person on social media who tagged me because they went to the exhibit, and they tagged me and they said, I literally am in tears and I cried over this painting. So the amount of feedback that I've gotten on that specific painting, not their reaction to my painting, like, oh, it's so good, technically skilled. Like, no. Just what it's doing to the reflective quality of people's lives. And they're saying it just reassures the fact that I'm moving in the right direction and that I need to keep letting these things go in order to be a better version of myself. If I had been worried about what my ex-husband had thought of, what my kids have thought of, what my students are thinking about that painting, these people may not have had that time to reflect. So as I am a more authentic artist, that's the artist's job, right? To change people's lives if you are digging deep into your own feelings, then the people that are being affected by this artwork are better because of you. So it is, artist is conversation, artistry is community, and I'm building community by being in better touch with myself. That's crazy, and by not censoring myself. As a matter of my 2 children have been in that gallery like 2 or 3 times, and I can proudly stand in front of that painting with my 2 boys. One's 13, one is 9, and we could look at it and we could take pictures in front of it, and there's no shame, because I've taught my children not to be ashamed of the female or the male body. I've taught my children that it's not the body, it's what people do negatively with, you know, the body. There's things you can do, there's things you can't do, there's things that are age appropriate, things that are not. But art for the sake of art, there's symbolism. So I've very much trained my children to not see, you know, nudity as something shameful. So yeah, it's fun actually.
Which is unfortunately unique, right? It's a unique experience, but your art and your creativity is worthy and it's powerful. And I'm so glad you shared that and that you stepped into that. It is a great example for your boys, you know? I have nudes all over our house. I have a full painted vulva in my bedroom, and there's, when other kids come here, some of them, like, definitely there's some shock factor once they realize the art, and they're just always like turning their heads and they're like, what is that? And I just say, it's art. And then I go back to cooking or making a snack or whatever we're doing that day, or making art, usually in the kitchen. And yeah, it's something that, especially in North American culture, it's so censored, and unfortunately, but our bodies are not something that we need to be ashamed about.
Yeah, but also
they're beautiful.
It's that conversation that you're having with the audience, and then realizing what people's intentions are. Like, how is it that people who are standing in good intentions, they see my painting and they reflect on the meaning in themselves, and then a man thinks he has permission to touch me just because I'm painting that? Like, that says more about you, dude, you know, and where you are mentally, that you think that I have now granted you permission to my body just because I'm painting that. And it's really disturbing that some people will take any opportunity to just, you know, exploit. And when you think about like how men, you know, will paint nude women and over-sexualize the human form, and a woman who's talking, you know, deeper meaning and using her body as that message, you know, it's not perceived well from, you know, specific populations, which we know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. No, I did a figurative and nude collection as well. And I don't post it because, yeah, it's just like crazy what you get online. And although I haven't taken them all from the site, and I guess a teacher was showing, my old studio manager, she's like, my daughter came home today and the teacher was showing the class your art, and then one student was like, boobs. I'm like, yeah, she probably wasn't expecting that but I'm like, it's also just, yeah, a part of, like, you know, my journey as an artist and a woman after having children. You're expressing yourself. Okay, so last final question, sponsored by Red Bicycle Communications. If you had unlimited funds for one day for your community, what would you do?
For my community? Well, I would have a picnic, food. Maybe like an event where food was the center of everything, and then I just put walls all around the whole grassy area. There has to be grass. And we would have a lot of picnic blankets and maybe a barbecue in the middle. And options for healthy food. Lots of things to drink. And then all around, you would have an artist, like at the different walls. Hire a bunch of artists, 50-50, half male, half female, just a bunch of them. And then, maybe each section could be a different color. So like we have like the blue section, the green section, like a color party. And then depending on how you feel, you could walk over to like the green section and then just paint a bunch of green things, led by an artist who's wearing a green wig and a green tutu.
I love it.
And then, you know, you have the purple section over there and you paint purple stuff, all led by different artists who are themed. So it's super awesome, immersive, and everybody's making art. Where are we going to put the musicians?
Anywhere. You
Well,
have unlimited funds. They could be floating in the sky.
I was going to say that there's no space on the floor. So we will elevate. Let's elevate the stages, and the musicians
Coldplay
are
is
on
above.
There's four stages on each corner. The walls are all around, and so the stages are up high, so you can pick a corner depending on the mood. And then every now and then the artists need a break. So then we have dance performers who will come and perform as like a marching kind of like dancing groups coming towards the middle. And then the artists get to take a break because the visual artists are super always overloaded and overworked, and we are burnt out. So the dancing breaks performers will come in to rescue us. But there's always something going on.
I love it.
And it would be a contest to see who could dress the weirdest. So everybody who enters, the only way you're getting in is if you're wearing something weird.
Perfect. It kind of sounds like the event you're already having.
Well, mine's just a little box. Yes.
Yeah.
But maybe I need to apply for a
Magnified.
grant to build that event. There you go.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me take my pen, my little 2028. All right. That's going to take some planning.
Yeah, right? I know. I'm like, if I could just build an eco-friendly residency and everyone could live together, I'm like, how easy would that be? I don't know. Yeah.
Unlimited funds. That would be insane.
Yeah.
What would
Yeah.
you do? Or shooting it?
Oh gosh, it's so hard. I would do so many things. I think first, and this is just current global economic mood, I guess, is convert our energy to solve like a very huge issue of like the fact that we're oil and gas, but to be good for the planet. Like Singapore has a 100% sustainable place, like they convert all their garbage into energy. So first I would like make it a sustainable place to live. It's hard though because we live in winter, so cold. Yeah, with like also just like beautiful places filled with trees and places to swim and eco-friendly residency and art and unlimited. Like, I guess I would start with living a good life for everyone in a sustainable, beautiful way.
About your vision is that you're not just blowing it on one party. You're thinking long term and you're thinking sustainable. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to solve the biggest issue in the world here. Just the one big one first, and then we could all like chill after that a little bit more.
I feel like that would be a very zen place, and I should be invited to your zen city, you know, for your community, because anything that has a lot of trees and, you know, large leaves is just that's like haven. And I have seen like the roof gardens, and I've seen them only on, you know, on screens, not in real life, but just anything.
I don't know if we could do it here with winter. Like, it's cold.
Oh, because
like, when I'm talking about, like, it's cold here. It's like.
But you're in Canada, correct?
Yeah. Yeah. Lots of space, but winter, like everything dies, right?
Right.
Like, there's not enough sunlight for things to grow during the winter. There's just that one issue there.
We could do it in
California. I'll just come with
and San Diego.
Yeah.
San Diego and San Jose, we could definitely do it.
Yeah, somewhere. There is, like, I think a place not too far from here is converting their dump into a energy like burning garbage for energy, which I'm super fascinated about. Anyway, we could talk forever about anything, I'm sure. I'm so proud of you. It's cool to see, apparently, in the 2 years that we've talked, how far you've come. And I can't wait to see where you're going with everything too. So let's stay in touch.
Definitely. And I love seeing your journey as well. I was looking for things to, promote on my stories, stuff that you've been doing. And the list is really long. And I love, like, you're so good at your social media, like your presence and, making everything so organized. So I know exactly what I'm looking at and I know what to click on, just like the covers on your Instagram. Everything is so easily directable, and that is commendable, and I love that.
I'm so glad, it's because I feel like sometimes, with your creative brain and you're thinking a million different things and doing them, and you're like, does anyone understand what I'm doing at all? But thank you for saying
so
that.
easy to read, and it's consistent, right? And so, I mean, you've been doing great. I've also seen your evolution from, like when we start, it's just like you said, it's all over the place, but I've really seen you hone your craft and just come into your own, Brandi, right? But that's fun to see people come into their own and on their own journey. I love that. So high five, sister, right here.
Yes. So good. We'll chat soon, and have the best day. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you. I think we need to do bi-yearly check-ins.
Let's do it. And just send me a message on Insta anytime.
Okay, I definitely will.
Okay, bye.
If you have any questions, feel free to reach out on Instagram at Brandi Hofer Studios anytime. I'm happy to chat. That's where I sit. And I'm so glad you're here, and I cannot wait for you to dive in. So give us a like and subscribe, and check the rest of our channel.
If you want to feel empowered and inspired, like and subscribe for more. And if you want to get creative, check out all our art hacks on this channel.